So on April 28th, 1988, a Boeing 737-297 serving the flight suffered extensive damage after an explosive decompression in flight, causing by part of the fuselage breaking down due to poor maintenance and metal fatigue.
Oh, God.
Not mental fatigue. Metal fatigue.
Yeah, look after your mental health, guys.
Yeah.
Probably made in fucking Corby.
It probably was.
It was Alex's dad.
Your dad.
He was so tired because he just had a new baby.
Yeah, born in the street.
Yeah, he was born in the
This is
picked
your
up from
fault.
the town hall.
This is
and then
your
had to go
fucking
straight to
fault.
work.
6-week-old at home, and he's just doing the final bolt. You
yeah,
are?
yeah,
Lunch?
yeah,
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 right.
yeah. See you in a bit.
Yeah.
The Year Is with Red and Bobby.
Welcome to the Year Is Podcast, the podcast where every episode we travel back to a year in history. We talk about the weirdest, the most interesting, the strangest things from that year. I'm Bobby Mair, and this is my current co-host, Red Richardson.
Hello.
And
We have a guest.
We do have a guest. We've wanted to get her on forever. She's been really busy, so we didn't ask.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
But the intention has been there for years.
Thank you, guys.
Since your birth, actually.
Yes.
That's the yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, which is mad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been. You're like a Jedi.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
you've had the power to do this podcast since you were born.
I
There's
think-
something inside of you.
Yeah, the butterfly effect of me being born and this podcast being formed.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's something in that.
That is
Yeah.
Yes. Alexandra Haddow.
Hello.
comedian.
Wait, Alexandra, hello? I'm sorry. Alexandra, hello?
Alexandra Haddow
Haddow.
says hello.
Oh, I
Oh,
see. I
okay.
thought you were saying, no, my name is
No,
Alexandra.
not correcting
hello.
you. No, common mistake.
Where are you from?
You should change your name to Alexandra Hello.
That's a nicer stage name.
Alexandra, hello.
Yeah,
No,
it's a
'cause then they
Scottish
go,
name. if that's what you
Goodbye
mean.
when you get on stage.
End of gig.
End of
It's
gig.
a performance piece, and modern art.
No, I mean a heckler could just go, see you later.
Yeah, I know
That's
all.
what I'd
yeah.
shout.
yeah.
And have.
What would I?
Whereabouts are you from? You're from up north.
I'm from Corby, but Corby's in the Midlands of England. But
We
it's,
did a gig there, Corby Cube. Is that
Yeah.
right?
That is
we went there, didn't
that's
we?
Yeah.
one of my best gigs of all time.
Really?
actually.
Well, I got called a dwarf by a
everyone's
woman.
Scottish. It's called Little Scotland.
No, we
Oh.
did Corby Cube.
Yeah.
And we're walking into the venue, and on the same night as our sold out stand up show that
Yeah.
me and Red were doing,
Sure.
there was a Snow White and the Seven Dwarves
Of course.
children's play happening, and I assumed the smaller room. We were in the big room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as we were walking up a flight of stairs, a woman around the same age as us walked by.
No, she was older. She was too old to be in this movie.
She walked by me and Red and just looked at Red and went, "There's one of the dwarves," and then kept walking.
One of the dwarves has arrived.
No.
And I thought, Bobby was behind me, so I thought, maybe he's not heard, and I'm just going to keep going. And I just heard him running behind me, going. And then I got on stage, and I tried to tell the story, and it bombed as well. I didn't even get a laugh out of it on live. But yeah, that happened in Corby Cube.
I
Yeah.
did that gig
That
recently.
could have been
and it was
your mum.
weird. Probably was my mum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
She's about your guys' age.
That must
so-
have been
Yeah.
a bleak place to grow up, Corby.
It was. I talk about it a lot in my stand up because it's much better now, believe it or not. But when I was growing up there, when I went to uni, I had like no idea really about any other way. You just grow up in your hometown, like whatever you just think like it's normal that everyone's Scottish and you're sort of brought up to be Scottish even though you're in England. It's a weird place. And then
so is everyone's just, why is there so many Scottish people?
basically Corby was like quite a small village, and then they built the steelworks there and did a massive recruitment drive in Glasgow.
Okay.
And everybody and Scotland, and everybody moved down really fast, and that's why they just like put up like kind of the cheapest housing possible because this town was basically exploding.
and what year was this? Or when?
This is kind of from like all
Like-
throughout the 60s recently.
So post-war.
Yeah.
Really, yeah, post-war, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so I used to work in like Asda and Greggs and Sainsbury's, not Sainsbury's, too posh for us, Morrison's and stuff like that. And when I went to uni, I was like complaining about how soulless working on a checkout is. Like genuinely the worst job I've ever done.
Really?
So boring. It's like torture. You're just like, it's like beep,
Doop,
beep,
doop,
beep,
doop.
beep, beep, beep.
There's no small talk. There's no getting to know anyone.
Well, no, exactly, because they're only there for like 30 seconds.
you
And if there is,
see-
it's the same three questions. You know?
At my Morrison's, I see them try and talk to each other when they're two cashiers.
That's a brief respite, yeah.
Well,
sure.
I call the manager. I say, "Excuse me, I'm not quite happy about this. I don't like them socialising."
Yeah, just listen. I was noticing some joy in the eyes of my cashier.
That is how it feels, honestly. And there was one time there was a guy. I remember his nickname was Buttons. Don't know why.
Nice, yeah.
And basically, sometimes you used to come down and do, a 10-hour shift was like the worst on a checkout.
Oh, that's horrendous.
The worst possible thing you can think of. It used to be like 12 till 10, 12 till 8, or 12 till 6. And it was so boring that you'd want less money to just do the less hours.
Yeah, cool.
And this guy, Buttons, I remember they hadn't written his shift down on the sort of manually sort of written sheet by the checkouts where they send you to whatever one you're on. And they went, "Oh, your shift isn't down here." And he knew he was on a 12 till 10. And he was like, "Oh my God, I could get my evening back." And they went, "What shift are you on?" And he panicked and he went, 12 till 2. They were like, "A 2-hour shift?" "No, it's not. Let's go and double check." They were like, "You're on 12 till 10. And I just saw the life drain out of his eyes.
God.
I was like, "Mate, say 12 till 4. Come on, be smart." Like,
I did it when we helped pack for our football trip. We helped. Did you ever have people do that?
Oh, yes, we had people come in and do
so
that.
I saw how you lived for 2 hours. No, we had to help, and they could give you a little tip in the bucket.
Yeah, and it genuinely, like, what, if there was no one on your checkout for a while, I would go and nick a magazine off the the little newsagent bit, and sit and read that, and then they used to come over and be like, "No, you can't sit."
But why not?
I'm not
I know.
So I just have to sit.
I know. I remember
Like a drone.
Yeah.
Just a
Like a capitalist drone.
yeah.
Me and my brother worked in a pub, and they had an outside bit, so it was really nice. It was on the river, and they had an outside bit, and the boss would we had a radio, and we're listening to the football. There was no one there. We had a radio, and he just was a guy called Quentin. He just walked past and switched it off, and just went, "Not allowed."
It's so bleak.
It's so pointless.
Why do you have to be so miserable?
Power.
It is,
It's
isn't it?
just
Like, don't be
power.
chatting, or like, God forbid you're working in a bar. Like, I love working in pubs. I worked in my mate's pub in lockdown and stuff in Highgate. That was the dream compared to like the checkout, right? For those
So why'd you
jobs.
work in a pub in lockdown? Just sort of.
Because all my work. So, as in like, when it's half lockdown, when it was.
Oh,
like,
so you were the plastic cups and out the window.
yeah,
kind of
exactly,
thing.
yeah. And
This is you. I remember you posted on Instagram about your dad worked there randomly.
This is mad. So my dad lived in Corby his whole life, and he in the steelwork strikes in 1980.
Yeah.
His mate from home owned a pub, which was the Prince of Wales in Highgate. And so for a summer, or whenever the strikes, whilst the strikes were on, he slept on the floor upstairs and worked in the pub because there was no work in Corby.
Yeah.
And my mate from home now owns that pub, and that saved my ass in the lockdown.
That's so mental.
It's so weird. Like, the landlords don't know each other; they're not related. Like, it's so weird. That's the only time my dad's ever worked anywhere that wasn't my hometown. It's a weird coincidence.
Bit of history there.
But
So your dad worked in
line with the
steelworks.
theme of the pod.
Yeah. He was in the offices. So
Okay.
But yeah, there was just a massive steelworks, and then he was like in I don't know, shipping accounts.
What do you think of Margaret Thatcher?
Absolutely. Well, I don't know if I should say.
No, you can.
Huge fan.
Yeah, huge fan.
No, he's very much sort of, let's keep checking she's still dead.
Yeah, okay, nice.
Yeah, absolutely hates her. As does my entire hometown.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
We once made a joke about on here when I said someone, probably me, said I don't think she was that bad, but it was just messing around.
Yeah.
I got a DM from someone listening going, "How fucking dare you?" And it's like, we've said worse stuff than that, but
she's really
she brings up such
polarised.
hatred.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever met anyone who's like, I really liked her,
You get those people where they're like, "Oh, she was all about making your own money and stuff like that." It's like, yeah, enjoy paying for your £140 train ticket to Surrey. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Where did you go to uni then? Somewhere better than Corby or?
Yeah, Leeds.
Leeds.
Yeah, which was the perfect city, I think.
My cousin went to Leeds.
Yeah, it's great. Because it's not a city where you feel like, I think coming to uni in London must be quite daunting.
Yeah.
Yeah, overwhelming.
Yeah.
Do you get, like I always, with Leeds, there's a thing with Bristol has it too, where it's a lot of posh kids who couldn't get into Oxford and Cambridge, they go to Bristol and Leeds.
Yeah, I had a big culture shock when I went to
Really?
Leeds.
When they're like,
there was people
Alex,
that
mate, having a fucking good time.
You
yeah?
must have been the smallest little lady too,
It was-
because you are tiny now.
I thought you were tall.
I'm tall, but I'm very
You're
skinny.
just
I was so
tiny,
skinny.
though.
Yeah.
You must have been the tiniest person.
And I was just sort of there, like a little indie kid with a big fringe. Nothing's changed basically, but and I was sat there with like all my my little indie gear, trying to go to these nights and stuff like that. And I properly must have seemed like such a prick because honestly, there was these people. I had no idea about the class system. I know that sounds so stupid, but I was desperate to sort of do everything. And there was these people that they'd be like, "Oh yeah, we've been traveling all summer," and I was like, how did you afford that?
Yeah.
Because I'd been like working in Asda and working in.
You just didn't understand that other people
I
just
properly
had
didn't.
money.
Just didn't know. And they were like, and there's always an excuse. So like my mate, I remember she was like, "Oh well, I worked in Woolworths. That was my like Saturday job," and I was like, I must be so shit at saving. Like I have worked so many shifts and got a little pot of money together for like the start of uni, as well as my student loan and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, and she's managed to go to fucking Australia. Like, properly must have seemed like such a twat because I wasn't trying to say like, oh, you like fair play. Obviously, your parents gave you money and you went and enjoyed yourself. Like, go for it. But I was just like, fuck, I'm so. But no one ever said, oh, my parents gave me the money.
Yeah.
You just live not understanding.
You just thought you were
What am I
you were
doing
an
wrong?
idiot.
Yeah, I was literally like, I'm quite good with money, weirdly. It's against the rest of my brand, but like, I'm quite good at like saving if I need to. Do you know what I mean? I was just like, God, I must be such a fucking idiot. Like,
I like that they let you sit and think that, though.
Yeah, I know.
They were like, yeah, be better.
Yeah, exactly. It dawned on me when my friend.
They
got
might
in a
also
big-
have not understood that everyone's parents didn't give them money. So you were both living in a
Exactly.
world.
We were both. They thought we were having an understanding of like, don't mention the parental pot.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's not like my parents were like, on the breadline or anything. It was just that they couldn't afford to be like, go to Australia for 3 months, like.
When I got out of college, I had a student loan and then I just wanted to pay it off
Yeah.
because I hated the idea of this debt hanging over me. So I just did medical studies for a year and a half.
Really? Did you go to uni in this country or
No,
in Canada? Is your student debt like ours, like ridiculous?
I still own
Similar,
all of mine, I think.
Every time you check on it, you're like, why hasn't it moved?
Yeah. Well, I always tick. They say, "Do you owe a student loan? Yes or no?" And I tick the no button.
Oh.
Yeah. So that's how that works. No, I did do a job
Life
when
hack.
they. Yeah. I don't think. I was thinking saying on a podcast after isn't a life hack either. By the way, that guy, someone wrote in saying he works for the tax office. I do pay my taxes, so leave it alone. Thank you.
Red is
Bobby
actually.
made a joke
And that is
about
the
me not paying my.
conclusive final line.
No,
of
we
it.
just had someone writing, go listening to the podcast, and I work for the tax office, Red, and I was like, well, I pay them, so
Yeah, Red has an accountant. I got him an accountant.
you do.
To
And-
make
Fucking
sure
grass.
he
Like, it's
paid.
one thing working for the tax man. It's another thing being proud of it.
Yeah.
No, he's a good guy, so we don't slag him off on
Oh,
this
yeah.
podcast.
Well done on your job, mate.
He can have free tickets to my show, and we'll just have a good time.
Yeah, no, Stephen's good. He's a good Patreon. He
Yeah.
often points out my mistakes as well.
Oh, that's good. It's
Yeah.
not just me.
Oh, okay.
He's
It seems like his personality type. There's a reason he works for
Yeah. I guess
In
we
tax.
need those people.
yeah,
Yes.
of course we
the
do.
check and balance.
Thank you for everything you do, Stephen.
I thought you were going to say that's why he likes this podcast as well.
Because it's
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
point out
pedantic.
mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. It's good for those people.
There was that guy who wrote a review goes, these episodes get worse every week and I can't stop listening. He sounded so angry. He's like, it's almost like you forgot we're listening.
This podcast is Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah,
apparently.
basically, I think it is. But anyway, Bobby,
Anyway,
what year are we going to today?
we are going to a great year. A year. So I thought, what do I know about Alexandra Haddow? Well, I know she's a comedian,
You know where
Yes.
she lives?
a good comedian.
You know where I live?
I don't know where you live.
Ish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in London.
You did. You
I
were.
knew you're from Corby, live in London.
Yeah. I knew that you were very reliable on a Monday night at my old night at Vauxhall if I needed someone. Bobby Mair
I'd always come.
comes and smashes it
Good.
on the
So
line.
I thought, well, I think you're 35.
Yes, I am.
Wouldn't know it. Look at you, I'd think.
Thank you so much.
16.
Six.
She looks 14.
She looks
'Cause
14.
If someone says you look too young, it's offensive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 14. I'd be like, well, I'll take it, sure.
Yeah.
But
okay.
you do. I feel like from far away when you're dating men, people think they're pedophiles.
That's so nice. Thank you.
Like I mean, like I would argue most of the men you date should be in some kind of registry.
Oh, 100%.
Just
Yeah.
based on the fact that
The guy
Yeah.
I'm dating now is 6'5", so it probably looks even worse.
Yeah.
It does look that.
Yeah.
That's not ideal.
No.
It looks like just daddy's holding his little.
That's why we don't
from-
hold hands in
yeah,
public.
From yeah. If you were far away, it just looks like a dad leading his daughter home
Yeah.
for sex. That's
or just walking his daughter home. It
Yeah,
doesn't have to be
those-
the same.
Well,
Those were the days.
no, but he's like rubbing her ass while they walk down the street or
Oh
something.
my God.
Gotta get you home.
Come on, you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
6'5".
Yeah. I'm very
Okay.
skinny
What height
as
are you?
well, so I'm like 5'7", which is quite tall for a
Yeah,
girl.
that is.
But yeah, it's nice to finally be in heels and not have to sort of.
Yeah.
Well,
Have you
we-
gone
Yeah.
out with a man who's like, don't wear heels tonight because he make me feel like an idiot?
Yeah, a bit.
That's red.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah. How tall is your wife?
No, she's like 4'2". So.
Oh, great. Fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
She's 14.
No, but she's a child. That's
Yeah.
why Red's dating.
She's growing.
Yeah, she,
Every year it's a bit tense.
I have to dump her when she hits 5 foot.
Yeah.
I'm not even into young. It's just the height thing. Is the problem.
we've said to go with little people, but he
No,
finds the
he's-
proportions weird, so he goes with children.
Has to be a child.
So 87 was the year you were born. Is that-
88.
88.
Okay, we're going back to
That's
88.
the year we're going to is 88.
Okay.
Yeah.
The year before me. So
oh,
you were
am I
born
older
in
than you? I'm an
Corby
older
Town
woman.
Hall in
I was born in Corby Town Hall. as-
1988.
As all Corby babies are.
I really can imagine that being true, though. All of the workers gather around, covered in
A
soot.
new one
yeah.
is
they
here.
go, "Ah."
You shall replace me in accounts in the steel mill. You will be my understudy.
That's what happens. You signed it at birth.
And if they're doing dangerous work, you have to get away because if they die, you have to place them. You can't both be doing the same dangerous
Yes,
thing at the
exactly.
same time.
That's a bit like nonces this week. You know, one dies as another is about to be launched.
Yes.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah.
With Rolf Harris and then
Yes, and
Someone else.
the
someone
guy
else.
from that show on in the morning with Holly Willoughby.
Philip Schofield. No?
Oh, Jodie, yeah. I think you can say it. Beep it or whatever.
yeah.
Okay. Are we beeping his name now?
Well, maybe the tax man listening will go and tell Schofield that we're slandering him on the podcast.
Oh, sorry. I
He's a friend of the Tories.
I thought you were going to say he's a friend of the show.
Yeah, no, he is.
Well, Schofield is, and he's not a friend of the show. I'll say that. He's not
You'd have
a
him on.
friend.
He bought these microphones. That's that's as far as we'll go, and we don't want him being trashed.
I
on
met
the-
him when I was 16, and he was so kind. He built me a podcast studio.
He was so kind.
He got me a job as an intern.
Yeah.
I couldn't
Nice man.
believe it.
Yeah. Too good to be true in many ways.
Too
But
good
that's
to
weird
be
behind
true.
the scenes that they were best mates allegedly.
Oh,
And now
so
they're not.
grim, isn't it?
But then what she obviously went, I've got to cut him loose
Oh, yeah. I
and
think,
save myself.
yeah.
Is what's happened.
Yeah.
She knew, she didn't give a fuck, but then the voices started
100%.
getting louder and louder and louder. Then they go, oh my God, this is so bad.
Yeah.
It reminds me of when R. Kelly was on Jules Holland in 2014.
Was he?
Yes, with Adele. 2014.
That late, where they definitely knew
yeah,
he was a
he
Robin.
was filmed pissing on a 14-year-old in 2003.
She said it wasn't her. She said, that's not me. He said, that's not me. How can they prove it? Later, she said, yes, I was paid a lot of money to say it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he did that Midget in the Closet song. Do you remember that? And we all laughed at it. And it was
Yeah,
for-
we all thought harmless fun.
yeah, but that was like a year after the sex tape.
Is that
with
what
the
they
child.
called it?
Midget in the Closet, yeah.
Okay.
That was the chorus. There's a midget in my closet.
Okay.
He is now in jail for a long time.
Oh, yeah,
isn't he?
35
He's
years.
never getting out, yeah.
Still singing, though. Got some pipes on him still. That's not
Is
gone.
he still releasing some tracks from?
Well, no,
prison?
he's doing songs for inmates' kids. So
Sure.
they'll go like, "Can you get R. Kelly to sing it?" And he's got a great voice.
Well, he's
It's a
got
cheap way of getting R. Kelly on your song now.
Well, yeah.
I
Well,
li- every time someone says that, I just can't help thinking of a northern person talking about their sister called Kelly. She's
Oh,
like,
really?
Oh, Kelly.
Oh, wait, yeah, I didn't even think of that. Yeah,
That's what comes into my head every time. It's just sort of.
but
R.
he
Kelly.
could relaunch. I could pretend that it's my voice, and then I write to R. Kelly in prison, say, "You've still got the voice. We'll write some okay songs together.
And then you are the face.
I'll sing. You get half of it." And then just do that for like 2 albums.
I can't see that backfiring on your career.
I don't see it
at
at all.
well, he doesn't have a singing career, so
No.
if
Yet.
it's
If I
only
get
up.
cancelled,
He's only going up.
yeah.
He goes from being not known to being very known and hated. What's worse?
But then if R. Kelly dies and I'm like, I've got to do the other album, I've been paid and I spent
Oh,
my
yeah.
advance, what can I do?
There's your movie.
You find
Yeah, there's
he's really changed styles. He sounds a lot like Gary Glitter now.
Yeah. I just reinvent myself every year.
He has
Like,
a different canceled sex criminal.
Different predators.
Like, I'm moving into comedy, and it's just Bill Cosby style
Yeah.
jokes
I think he's going to be big.
told by me. Everyone's like, this guy's so talented.
So many
Good scheme.
wrong-uns. Yeah.
and then you overdose, and all of the people who, and they all carry your casket
Yeah, yeah.
And that's how it's all
revealed.
revealed. Yeah.
But they're too old probably by that point. But
Yeah.
oh well.
Well, maybe they just put your head in the coffin so they can handle it.
That's
Just
nice.
Cut off
I think
your
when
head.
everyone
Yeah.
finds out the truth, I won't be having a funeral. I think my family will release a statement saying he was laid to rest at some point in the last 2 weeks.
In a private ceremony.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Surrounded by family, no friends at all.
Surrounded by
People
just
who
family.
had to be there.
Mm.
Yeah, we're going to 88. I thought that. So you were born in this year. 2 years.
Yes.
I was already 2. Red was.
Not born yet.
A twinkle in his father's eye.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm born on the 8th of March 1988, and if I was born on the 8th of August, my birthday would be 8th of the 8th, 88.
No, that'd be good.
If any of those people are listening, get in touch.
Yeah, what? Because they can just share
I
what
wanna
it was like to
Fight them, yeah.
what it was like to have that birthday.
If you're exactly 5 months younger than me.
Were you born in the hospital?
I was born in Kettering General Hospital, because obviously Corby doesn't have one.
Ah, is that where James Acaster is from?
Yes.
Kettering. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I know that place.
Yeah, he used to work with my friend in a pub in Kettering.
Oh, really?
She said he was very funny, even then.
Even that's what people
Mad.
say. Even then, very
Even
funny.
then. Yeah, I didn't know him growing up. I think he's like a year older than me.
So I'm assuming in Corby, no hospital, right?
No hospital,
They
no.
just
You're born on the street or not at all.
you just give birth.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah.
give birth in
If you
Corby.
can make it to the hospital,
wherever
fine.
you stand is where the baby is born.
Exactly. Yeah.
So they built places for the Scottish, and then they went, but they don't deserve a
But they
hospital.
don't deserve it. Basically, like, the population is increasing, hundreds of percent
Yeah.
per year. No.
No, not having a hospital.
Well,
Yeah.
why would the Tories build a hospital for someone who's never going to vote for them?
Exactly.
That's true, actually.
Why give them a hospital? If anything, encourage their deaths.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that's very much been the Tories' attitude to my hometown.
Yeah, it does sound like
So I'm
it.
gonna, and do you know what they've also done? Changed the boundaries of the constituency to include the little villages around Corby. So now
with the
it's
wealthy.
obscene. It's mental to think that Corby is Tory now.
Is it really?
But Corby itself isn't. But the constituency of Corby
Oh, we
is.
know our way around this. There's
Yeah.
a few suburbs with some angry older people who want to
100%.
keep hold of their
Yeah.
money.
Yeah,
Saw a few convertible Saabs driving around.
Yeah,
Thought,
definitely,
Let's
exactly
add
that.
these guys in.
yeah. Which is it's mad to think that
Mm.
my hometown is Tory, because it's not at all.
All right, are you ready to go back?
I'm ready.
Oh my God.
Here it comes. Facts are about to be thrown upon you.
I'm excited.
In 1988, the cargo ship Kian Sea deposits 4,000 tons of toxic waste in Haiti after wandering around the Atlantic for 16 months.
This has actually got a link to Corby.
No.
Like the toxic waste thing.
Yeah.
There was a huge ongoing court case, and it's on the news every few years. I think it's kind of done now, about the steelworks causing toxic waste
Fuck.
in Corby, and like kids were born with like birth defects and stuff.
No way.
And so it is that like total disregard for like the working classes that they kind of let this go on, like, and they knew about it. And there's a whole thing with it. And every few years, I get a text from everybody I know being like, "Are you gonna claim for your face?" Or whatever.
Yeah,
every time it's on the news,
yeah.
like Corby.
So
and
you
toxic
are a
waste.
toxic child.
I'm a
That
toxic. I am.
But
That's
that
why I'm
explains
toxic.
why you're small.
That's why I'm very small.
Yes, you're
yeah.
unable to.
I
You're
can't
unable
grow
to take in
anymore.
nutrition.
and your
Yes, that's
hair's
exactly
like
it.
white.
Yeah, that's definitely not.
And you got a bit of pink in it. Is that from?
That's from the waist.
Yeah,
yeah,
fuck,
that's exactly. That's
this
how
is
it happens.
crazy.
Yeah, just a
I
lovely.
thought you dyed that. I
I
didn't
know this is natural. This is just
Just
like
how you
nobody
look.
in Corby has a natural hair colour.
Yeah,
if
yeah,
they
yeah.
have hair at
like
all.
unicorn's hair.
Yes, that is very much what that's what we're like. And my mates, it's such a weird place to grow up that, like, my boyfriend now, he's got a link to it because he used to play gigs there when he was younger, and he was
He's
like,
a musician.
He's a musician, yeah.
Looking at you, it's shocking that your boyfriend's a musician. I couldn't have imagined that you date musicians.
Yeah.
What?
Every time I know.
Is
it's
it
so
all?
mad.
Is he a bass player?
He's a guitarist and a lead singer.
Okay, yes, of course.
The biggest of red flags.
Yes.
Yeah.
You do have a musician.
I was like, do you know what? I was like, someone said that to me. I was like, how dare
Yeah.
everyone?
But
Everyone.
you also run a night called Indie Amnesty, so
Yeah.
you are going to meet. You know?
Yeah, I run it with him. He's the other DJ.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
I started it. So,
Nice.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and then
Is that how you met DJing?
no, we met in the pub in lockdown. He was because the landlord was our mutual friend. We were friends for like a few years. We've not been going out that long. But he was in a similar situation where like we all were, where all our work disappeared overnight, which wasn't stressful at all.
Yeah.
And then he was I was going to do this indie night. It's sold out, and it was supposed to be April 2020 was the first one, and I was like, this is too easy. I've sold it out with no promo.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. And then 18 months later, it finally happened. But I'd met him in the meantime, and he was a DJ as well. So
Yeah.
I was like, perfect. So him and my mate from Corby, but he knows a few people from Corby. And the first time we met, he was saying, "You're all absolute nutters. Like I don't know if it's the toxic waste or the Scottish thing, or like it's this weird enclave of insane people."
Yeah.
And I said to him, I was like, "Well, you know what? Like I'm pretty normal." And he went, "You've got a black eye," which I did have at the time. And I was like, "All right, point taken. Fine." So yeah, it's a mad place to grow up, and there was toxic waste like
That's
this boat.
On August 31st, 1986, by the way, it's a Seamless Smooth podcast.
Yeah.
The cargo ship Kian Sea registered in Libya and was loaded with more than 14,000 tons of ash from waste incinerators in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The city has previously sent such waste to New Jersey, which makes sense.
It doesn't say that then.
No, it doesn't. So, they wanted to get rid of the waste. Nobody would take the waste. Over the next 16 months, Kian Sea searched all over the Atlantic for a place to dump its cargo. Dominican Republic, Honduras, Panama, Bermuda, Guinea-Bissau.
And then it finally
That's how you say
settled.
it.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Guinea-Bissau and the Dutch Antilles. That's not how you say it.
No.
I think that is how you say it.
Antilles.
Steve will let us know. We're only on the.
Yeah.
But everyone
Steve,
refused.
Steve can write in.
They tried to give it back to Philadelphia. Philadelphia said no.
So what? You're just stranded living on this
So
boat
these
of
guys
waste?
are
waste.
stuck on a boat full of toxic waste.
I've
And no one
I've been
will
in
take the
friendships
toxic
like that
waste.
before. Am I right?
I know a little town in the Midlands that would have
Yeah, they would
taken
have
it.
taken.
Fuck it in for a penny.
Alex would
Do you
have
know what I mean?
drank it.
Yeah, and been fined.
It's like Iron Brew, guys. Chill out.
Yeah.
So they just dump it in the sea.
Eventually,
Oh God.
they just were like, fuck this.
Yeah, because you can't leave. I would have just got. I will tell you what I would have done is I've gotten a boat off the boat,
Nice.
little life bro, and gone. This is your problem. I'm not fucking dealing with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the man to press the button
Yeah.
and watch a million turtles just go.
Yeah.
They
Like-
feel
but
fucking
like-
horrible.
Was this the only ship to ever have toxic waste? Like, what do they do with other toxic waste?
I think they just dump it near countries that can't do anything about it. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
you pick, like,
Yeah.
Haiti. You just pick a country
Yeah.
that maybe doesn't have the strongest government. You're like, yeah, that'll work.
It's like mob rule in Haiti now, isn't it? I've got
Is it
things,
really?
but it's mad. It's,
Is that
yeah.
because you know the Clintons? Didn't the Clintons buy up all their rice after the earthquake and then sell it back to them at double the fucking price?
What?
The Clinton Foundation, yeah. And that was all going on.
That sounds like right-wing propaganda to me. I will not have the Clintons disparaged on this podcast.
The
I
good
remember-
people, the Clintons.
Yeah, and then you had Lena Dunham being like, "I'm with her," and you're like, "We all want Hillary. No one wants Trump to win, but let's not pretend that this
Yeah,
is
yeah,
great
yeah.
either." You know,
Absolutely.
it's fucking awful.
Listen, Bill is a great guy.
He's a sex offender with
He
about
is not
20.
alleged.
You know, he's borrowed money from her family to pay off court cases before he became in power. He borrowed money off her family. So imagine knocking on your father-in-law's door, go, "Hey man, so I pinched the receptionist's arse again, and I need 45 grand
Yeah.
to shut her up. Can I have
Oh,
that?"
Bill, what you like,
Yeah,
you know.
you just go. It's like, yeah, there's a lot of things that it's awkward to ask for people for money anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But for that is that's really tough.
That's like Ched Evans's father-in-law had a whole website trying to slander the girl that accused
Oh,
him of
really?
rape. And it was like, why are you so invested into the fact that let's suspend disbelief and say he wasn't charged with it. He still cheated
Yeah.
Like-
He
on
did.
your daughter.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Good in-laws.
Good in-laws.
Those are the kind of in-laws you look for.
No, of
Thick and
course.
thin.
That is solid, actually.
That's a lot of thin.
Yeah, very, yeah. We're still waiting for the thick.
Yes.
Jesus.
Anyway, sorry, toxic waste.
Toxic waste. They dump it. Yeah, I would not want to be on that ship.
No, and what was the after effects? Just loads of stuff died. They probably killed about 100,000 sharks,
Yeah.
possibly.
Well, that's a good guess, Red. They probably
I just know you don't have the
Steve,
facts.
fact
I have
check
the
that at
facts in
home.
front of
I'm
me.
just throwing
actually.
out things because it's just otherwise it's dead air, and I know
You know
Bobby
when you
hasn't
hear,
read to
like-
the end.
You know when you hear stats about what we put in the sea,
Yeah,
you think, how can I not always see it at all times? Like,
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
so much
yeah.
stuff.
I
And
think
then
if you
you
go
think-
to certain places, you can. Like there's that floating island of rubbish, isn't
Yeah.
there? Where's that? I can't remember.
Where
but-
is it at the moment? But isn't it like the size of Texas or something?
Yeah, it's massive and it's just bin bags and it's disgusting. There's sewage all around. Who was that Tory MP? It was like, when I was a boy, there was sewage
Oh.
everywhere and we used to swim in it. It's like, it's not that, like nostalgic about shit in
why?
the sea.
Like, no matter how bad things get, why is there always an old Tory
Yeah,
trying to make out that it was a good thing?
Yeah.
Just because it happened when you were a child.
Yeah. It
doesn't
doesn't mean
mean-
it's a good thing.
No.
Yeah, you just didn't realize it was bad. 'cause
Yeah,
you were a
yeah. We all
child.
used to get molested and we just brush it off.
I know. Yeah. Yeah, and you guys all seem fine.
Yeah, yeah,
sexually.
yeah.
You're all in a fucking dungeon asking a boy to whip
So
you.
in January 1988, the crew finally dumped 4,000 tons of the waste near Haiti as topsoil fertilizer. When Greenpeace informed the Haitian government of the origin of the waste, the Haitian commerce minister ordered the crew to reload the ash, but the ship slipped away. The Haitian government subsequently banned all waste imports. Local cleanup crews later buried some of the waste in a bunker inland, but the rest remained on the beach.
So- Oh no, I was going to say, what finally pushed them over the edge after 16 months, do you reckon? Like,
Fucking
the
hell,
final
just
pot
like, we
noodles
need to
gone.
get the
out,
fuck
yeah,
out
final
of
pot
here.
noodles gone. You're out at sea still, and you're literally sitting on just
Yeah.
shit. You know, it's not that. I bet these guys didn't end their lives well. You know,
No,
There's probably
exactly.
quite a lot of cancer and
Yeah.
other sort of disease.
Next, the crew of the Kian Sea tried to unload the rest of the cargo in Senegal, Morocco, Yugoslavia, Sri Lanka, and Singapore. That's the whole globe. They were just like
Sailing around.
going around the
Yeah.
whole
Going,
globe, being like,
Excuse me, can you take our shit, please?
Yeah.
our toxic waste. And it was like, no, we're
No,
good.
this is for you guys.
But apparently, sorry, it's not just the seas that we're polluting. There's also so much space debris around us that I saw Neil deGrasse Tyson say, if we don't stop like just leaving space debris around, fuck going to Mars, we're not going to be able to get off the planet because
Really?
yeah.
Like, sorry to sound like I'm 5 here, but like rockets and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah,
and
rockets,
satellites.
yeah.
And what space debris? Just
Satellites, pieces of
Bags.
satellite.
Yeah.
really?
Right.
They're just spinning around the Earth. And the more satellites they launch, and just the satellite fucking breaks.
Yeah.
And then they just leave it. So it's like, we will be encased by spinning metal. And then if you launch a ship, the spinning metal will hit the ship
Yeah.
and destroy it. So by the time we have to escape Earth
Yeah.
because of climate change,
We're too messy.
even if we have the technology, we've just been too lazy to stop, and then we'll have just encased ourselves.
Yeah, in a metal shrapnel.
Yeah.
Dying planet.
Yeah.
We'll be like, oh, we fucked it here as well.
Do you know, like, it's bad
I
'cause
think we
when-
deserve that though.
We're in a pepper grinder, really,
Yeah.
aren't we?
Yeah.
Fucked.
The only thing I ever think when I hear news like that is just, no, I'm not consolidating my pension. Give me it now.
Yeah. I know what you mean. It's
Let's just spend it now. We'll see how
Yeah.
it lies.
How warm does the summer have to get before the government just goes, do you know what? You can have your pensions today.
I think that when they put the Olympics on, I'm just like, so, you know,
Yeah.
they go, oh, it's all so bad, but here's a man throwing something at something. It's just like, okay, it's wicked. Who's the fastest? It's like, we're all dying.
What we saw in school.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yet there we are at 2 a.m. watching the judo between
Yeah.
Paraguay
Yeah.
and fucking...
Well, everyone was watching Eurovision. What's happened? So has Eurovision had a revamp? Because when I was younger, it was this trash thing that no one watched. And now it's like everyone's doing parties for it.
I think it's just become so trash that people have
Yeah.
been like, it's a bit of a laugh.
Because like Love Island had that happen to it. That was a show that was
Yeah,
just like
it was
nothing.
shite.
Yeah.
Well, it still is shite.
And then it's become this big, and everyone sort of ironically watches it.
Yeah.
But the same with Eurovision.
I like it because you get to watch people have sex.
Oh, that
What, Love
which is
Island?
one of your passions.
Yeah, I like
At
it.
the Olympics.
My favorite thing, no, my favorite thing about I like Love Island because they have those night cams and then they'll fuck each other.
Nice, yeah.
And you get to watch strangers fuck live on TV. That's really
On
exciting.
ITV.
Mhm.
On ITV, I don't
Yeah.
really care what network it is. If
Sure.
if
Sorry.
I can watch strangers just having sex in a room with other people sleeping,
Mm.
that's pretty hot.
Yeah, nice.
Do you remember
Yeah.
Kinga from?
Yes.
They called her King of the Minger in the papers. She put a champagne bottle inside her on season
Yeah.
3 of Big Brother, which I think is when our culture died. That exact moment.
That's
I
the
think
beginning
was
of the end, isn't
we
it?
were over.
Culturally, that was
I think Kinga was.
a big moment.
There should be a statue of Kinga, and
Yeah.
you go, this is marks when everything changed.
Went to shit.
I don't think
Yeah.
she even got a career out of it. Like I think once every 6 months, someone like me mentions her on a podcast.
Yeah.
After repairs in Yugoslavia, the ship's name
Kinga meant to...
Toxic waste.
the
We need to
ship's
dump
name
Kinga in Peru.
changed to Felicia. So they tried to change their name
Yeah.
to trick people
Oh really? That's so funny.
into thinking they weren't the toxic
Incredible.
ship.
Oh.
And they registered in Honduras.
Oh my god.
Later, it was named Pelicano.
Well, that
These-
sounds nice.
That's like that
Changes-
comedian who keeps calling people and changing his name. The ship is the same thing. Yeah, go on.
These changes failed to hide the ship's original identity, so it didn't work.
Oh, okay.
The rest of the ash disappeared en route from Singapore to Sri Lanka in
Ah.
November 1988.
So they're just doing a
Convenient.
little kick. Like
What
he
a-
does in
what a
Shawshank.
Yeah, out of the
Mystery.
bottom of their
Yeah,
trousers.
Shawshank Redemption is just sort of doo-doo-doo. Little bit of toxicity for you.
Yeah.
Just a sprinkle.
The crew refused to comment, but eventually the ship's captain admitted they had dumped the remaining 10,000 tons of the waste into the Atlantic and Indian Oceans.
Fucking
Oh
hell.
my god. What was it
That's
toxic
so-
waste from?
It was fertilizer, I believe.
Ugh.
Oh.
Well, I think that would do the opposite to the sea than fertilize it. you know?
Yeah,
Mm.
somehow.
In 1993, 2 owners of Coastal Carrier, that's the shipping company, were convicted of perjury, having ordered the dumping. The ship itself was broken up for scrap in 1992.
And sent into space to
Mhm.
orbit
Yeah,
us forever.
Yes, they
The
launched
most
it.
toxic ship ever.
So they went to jail.
They were convicted of perjury,
Oh, so maybe they got off. Bloody white collar crime.
Yeah.
dumping toxic waste.
What a way into the world for me, just as that ship
Mm.
was. Do you know, my niece was born last year on the 25th of February, and my brother-in-law and my sister were like, can you get the London papers, you know, like the Evening Standard and the
Yeah,
Metro,
yeah.
you know, for the day she was born? And it was literally like, Putin wages war in Europe, like blood
Fuck.
spilled on our shores, like that kind of thing. And I was like, maybe we just tell her she was born the day before.
Yeah. The papers. People used to do that. So did you get the date?
I got it, but literally the one I've got is like blood in Europe.
Yeah,
It literally
yeah,
says the most
fuck.
bleak, like, it's like, well, here's the papers the day you were born.
Yeah. Well, I think it's probably always been like that.
Yeah,
From
it's-
doing this, I don't think we've ever come
In
across a good year.
1988, a Nazi document
Oh no.
implicated Kurt Waldheim in World War II deportations. Now, I know who Kurt Waldheim is.
I don't.
I know.
We all know who Kurt Waldheim is.
Who?
Yes.
Former Secretary General of the United Nations.
Oh, I see.
Oh, okay. I didn't know about that.
who
So he got
are-
himself a top job after, did he?
Yeah.
So from 72 to 81, he was Secretary General of the United Nations. From 86 to 92, he was President of Austria. And
Oh,
then
it's always them, isn't it?
Mm-mm.
while he was President of Austria, the revelation of his service in Greece and Yugoslavia and participation in Nazi atrocities as an intelligence officer in Nazi Germany's Wehrmacht during World War II raised international controversy.
Wow. Did he get sacked?
I think it didn't go well for him. It did not go well because when you're a Nazi and you're president of Austria in the 80s,
Mm.
it doesn't really
So
come
wait, had he
out
changed
good.
his name or anything?
It's frowned upon, isn't it? I think.
He just, we all have a past.
But did he change his name? Or they just sort of found...
It's unclear.
that he'd been dabbling.
Red, you know the rule.
You never
There's a
ask-
rule on this podcast when someone is reading history. Do not ask specific questions if they have not answered that question because they don't know the answer.
No, of
Yeah.
course.
We'll have a little look.
How are we to know?
How are we to know
How
exactly?
are we to know?
What is a fact anyway?
Well, quite.
What is research? You know, it's such a loose term, isn't it? Do you have an obligation to find out all the info when you present it? I don't know.
think he didn't change his name. They found
this-
evidence he had taken part in, among other actions, the transfer of civilian prisoners to the SS for exploitation as slave labor,
Yeah.
the mass
Oh, he's a bad egg.
deportation of Jews from Greek islands
Quite.
to death camps,
Quite
the
bad.
utilization of anti-Semitic propaganda, the mistreatment and execution of Allied prisoners, and reprisal executions of hostages and other civilians.
I love how he was Secretary General of the UN for 9 years,
Yeah.
and it was just like, fine.
No one knew. The thing is, though, every man of a certain age from that region, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They hardly, I think most, you go, what were you up to?
Yeah, my mate's Austrian, and he says like in school it's just constant. A bit like in Germany, it's constant sort of like we're very sorry for like in history lessons. It's all about like how to not repeat this again.
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
But they couldn't get him out. He was just president.
That's
But
so-
like of Austria, while everyone found out he was also a Nazi war criminal.
And do you start posting Marilyn Monroe memes? Being like, if you can't handle me my worst, you don't deserve me my best.
Yeah.
Who amongst us hasn't been a
Yeah,
Nazi
yeah,
war
yeah.
criminal? You
Sorry,
know?
I have a bit of a past, babe.
Been a bit of a bad boy.
Yeah.
But he was deemed persona non grata by the United States and officially or informally by nearly every other nation in the world outside of the Arab world.
yeah,
Why they have one like him?
Because the Arabs are still like, well, if you're gonna spend money here,
Yeah.
Everyone was like, I'm not getting in a photo with this guy
Yeah.
and shaking his fucking hand.
No.
I love how formal that is. Like, you've done all this bad shit, but we're not going to take you out of office. We're going to call you persona non grata.
Yeah, basically. But which means publicly I won't speak to you.
Yeah, essentially that.
But
Yeah.
we can still hang out.
I really like this, though. So after his term ended in 1992, he didn't seek re-election. Smart choice.
Mhm.
Yeah, probably.
The same year, he was made an honorary member of the KHV Welfia
Oh, God.
Klosternerberg, a Roman Catholic student fraternity, which was part of the Austrian Kartelverband.
They
in-
sound like good guys.
Yeah.
In 1994, Pope John Paul II awarded Waldheim a knighthood in the Order of Pius IX and his wife a papal honor. Baby, the Catholics came through.
Yeah,
What the-
completely.
You know? They were like,
Yeah.
listen, we've all made mistakes. If there's anyone who's going to understand
Some bad
making
press.
some
Yeah,
mistakes,
yeah.
it's the Catholic Church.
It's the old Pope himself.
No one, but did you grow up religious at all?
No.
No, I wish I did.
Why?
Because then I'd have something to blame my personality on.
I know. I do know what you mean.
Yeah, maybe God, this is it. Yeah.
And I also, I always think, oh, it'd be good if I was brought up religious, but then I thought for myself and became an atheist, whereas I was just brought up like, yeah, it's not real. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like,
yeah.
would I have been a sheep or
Yeah.
would I have had
I
some original
think
thought?
Catholic would be best for me because then I could repent privately. I wouldn't say sorry to anyone in person.
Yeah, obviously.
Yes.
I just go sit in a box when I've got a bad hangover and been horrible
Lovely.
on the weekend. And go and just sit in a box and say, look, did a few things that are bad, and then just come out and I'm like, I'm fine.
Have a biscuit and some wine.
It's over.
Yeah.
It's the slate is clean.
Yeah.
That
I
is-
think Catholicism is inherently horny as a religion.
Of course, because they're not allowed to,
Yeah, you know,
Just a
oh,
bunch
stop
of
it,
men
like
who
all that sort.
You
Yeah,
can't.
yeah, exactly. Get in a little box and tell me all the bad stuff you've done.
Mm.
Yeah.
Very horny.
Yes.
Priests, horny. Well, quite literally. Nuns, horny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All the stuff, you know,
I-
the silks, the robes.
I
The big
I stayed at a
churches.
nunnery once.
Did you?
Yeah, it was a
Lad.
silent retreat.
What? Are you kidding me?
No, a 3-day silent retreat at a
What?
nunnery.
How was that?
What?
Me and
Why?
it was in Toronto. I just wanted to go not talk for 3 days.
Really?
Yeah, I know
Sounds
you,
interesting.
you couldn't imagine it. I know.
No,
I'm
but I've
speaking
never-
for 3 days.
We should do that on the podcast.
Just a silent episode like that piece of music that's just like 4
yeah, you
minutes
just
of silence.
put it out. No, this is you never told me this.
So I I don't know. It was like when one of the periods where I'm like, I'm quitting drinking. I'm going to go on a silent retreat. So I go to this nunnery. And you just they give you a little apartment. You pay a couple $100. You sleep there. But you eat the meals in like a cafeteria with all the nuns.
Okay.
And
it's just silent.
The nuns can talk.
Oh, okay.
They're not.
So you can eavesdrop on nun
Yeah.
conversations.
But they were quite far away. They were a couple tables over, so we couldn't really chat. Like I wouldn't chat anyways. But they were a couple of tables away, and I'm just sitting quietly, and all the nuns were like 90, and there was one nun who was like our age. So at the time, like 25.
Is this going to be a horny story?
I think it is.
No, nothing happened. But I turned around and I just looked at her and she was just staring at me so intensely. Not necessarily a sexual stare, just like a need for connection.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, please.
Yeah.
And I looked at it for a second. But there was no opportunity to speak with this woman.
Yeah,
There
of
was no.
course.
Did you get a silent hand job?
I would have loved it. I would have happily engaged.
Yeah.
Did it help you, any of this?
What does help mean?
Yeah.
Any help I've ever got in therapy, I've always had short-term games. Long-term, you're just back to whoever you were at the beginning.
What would happen if you smoked a cigarette outside or leaning out of your thing? You thought you put it out. You set fire to your room. You run out. What do? Can you say there's a fire?
No. You
Yes,
have
of
to go-
course. You're allowed to. It's not.
You just have to run it.
Yeah. Mime it.
I haven't
Hot.
like vowed silence to God. I'm
Okay.
just choosing to not speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I would have loved to have sex with this nun. I would think it would have been super interesting.
Yeah.
But
And the silent
cards-
sex show.
the cards were it wasn't on the table,
It does sound like a porno. There's probably an arty European director listening to this now. There probably isn't. I'm almost certain there isn't. But if they were, they go, God, that's my next film. It's a silent
Yeah.
movie about a silent retreat, sexually repressed nun, and a stand-up comedian from Canada.
Horny
Yeah.
cool guy.
Yeah.
He's got the loud
Bobby
voice
Mair
and
playing
tremors.
himself.
Ready to fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it'd be like you could do like an 80s comedy, and the covers you going.
I don't think any movie involving the Catholic Church and me should be.
No.
You know, like
I'm thinking 80s movie cover, and the nuns with massive boobs behind you,
Yeah.
and you're like Rob Schneider at the front, just
Silent habit.
Yeah. Sometimes it's hard to keep it down. That's the tagline.
that's hot.
That is very good.
And then we're there.
Silence is golden, but my eyes still see the nuns.
Yeah.
I always wonder
Let's go with
what
red. Let's go with red.
I always wonder what people's secrets are. Like that lady must have had secrets.
Yeah, like why are you a nun at 25?
Yeah, why are you acting like you're in Game of Thrones? Like,
Yeah.
shame.
Yeah. If you're a nun at 25, imagine the dick you've had by 24.
Yeah, well,
know?
she's probably, what do you think? She's a rough past and she's gone, enough's enough.
She's basically cleansing herself
Yeah.
of the D.
Yeah, she's just healing her vag. She's
Yeah,
a couple
thought-
years to let it recover.
Exactly. She was like, I can't trust myself. I need to be somewhere with some 90-year-old nuns. And
Yeah.
then in walks Bobby Mair.
Bobby Mair,
Well, listen,
sexed up comedian,
not
an expert in silence.
Bad boy drying out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, God, there's all
Yeah.
of that, isn't there? Yeah.
I think we have the show.
And we've got the show.
we've got the show. Did you know in 1988,
Hmm.
Aloha Airlines Flight 243,
Aloha, isn't it? Yeah. Is that Hawaii?
Aloha.
you know not to ask questions.
Okay.
Sorry.
Jodie, that's Hawaii, isn't it?
Aloha is, hello.
I actually think
goodbye,
Jodie's the brightest person on, not including you, but usually.
Oh no, please.
I've realised that I actually ask him a lot, and he usually knows what he's talking about.
You're really interrupting my fact.
Whereas actually, we treat him like he's the dumbest person.
That's the joke, Red.
No, okay, sorry.
My favourite bit, though, that no one's actually picked up on, is the amount of times you ask me to fact check something and then just never come back to it.
Because I don't want to know. I throw out facts, and I don't. Some of them I just. If they're in my head, they're a fact. Sorry, Bobby. Carry on.
In 1988, Aloha Airlines Flight 243 safely lands after losing its roof midair,
What?
killing a flight attendant and injuring 65 people.
Fuck.
That is stats that you never hear with an airline crash because you always think either it's like they landed safely and it was all fine, or like they all died in a fire.
This is one of the
Yeah.
rare times where everyone on that plane, I guarantee, never flew again.
Yeah.
The
So-
roof of the plane flew off.
But no one. How many died?
One flight attendant died.
Fucking
That was
hell.
mid-serving. I bet she was on the trolley.
Yeah,
the roof
not
came off.
strapped
And what
in.
they think?
Gone.
Oh, I didn't know this plane was a convertible.
Yeah.
No, I think you just think,
That's cool.
I'm going to die. That's what you think.
The sunroof's come off.
Yeah.
Do you know what I always think about crashes like that or things like that? So they obviously, let's say they landed in Hawaii, or I'm guessing the States.
Yeah.
You know, you land in Hawaii, you've been through this hugely traumatic event, you've actually survived. So
Yeah.
if your family or whatever, oh, you've got to go back to where you live though by plane.
But yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
Yeah, there's no other way.
There's no other way.
I
Like,
get
I'm
on
gonna
the-
think I'm gonna drive cross country out
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Well, you know, Hawaii's an island, so they'll
Yeah.
be they're gonna have to get the toxic ship back home.
Yeah, yeah. Is there a ship? There is one.
Yeah, there's one ship. Her name is Jessica. You might think it's Sarah, the toxic. It's not.
So
That's terrible. I'm really scared of flying.
Same.
I'm terrified of it. And people go, it's like, are you a nervous flyer? It's like, of course, I'm 4,000 feet in the fucking sky.
Yeah.
And there's a man on like 40K a year. I've met pilots, by the way.
And
They
they're
are
always
not-
drunk.
They're drunk. They
Yeah.
do drugs. I met this guy who's a Ryanair pilot. He's like, yeah, it's like real rock and roll lifestyle. It's like, incorrect. Because a
Oh,
rock and
no,
roll
don't
is
tell
a
me
man
that.
with a guitar. And if he has a bad gig,
I'm dating the rock
We-
and roll
yeah,
ones.
we-
I don't want to be dating a pilot.
no,
there's
I want my
there's a-
pilot to
there's
be.
a good chance your ex-boyfriend's gonna be a
Gonna
pilot.
be a pilot.
Nuts,
Yes,
yeah.
all he needs is a leather jacket.
Yeah. And he's-
I'm in.
The little bird wings on the. But yeah, I don't. Because you could look at them and you assume like every doctor's a superhuman or something.
Yeah.
You actually realise they're just people.
I
They've
know.
got their weird little perversions and their
Yeah.
fucking sleeping habits and probably like that film with that came out about the pilot who was fucked.
Flight with Denzel.
Denzel,
Great,
yeah.
great
Yeah.
movie. Because he's that actually incredible pilot, but he's an alcoholic, so he's drunk.
Yeah.
when he
Yeah,
lands the
drunk
plane.
as fuck.
Did
Can
he like
you
roll
imagine?
the plane and land it?
Yeah, he does something incredible,
Yeah.
but the woman he was having I think an affair with dies in the film,
Right.
and he was drunk, but he also did save everyone. So it's this uncomfortable thing
Oh,
where
I
And they
see,
say
okay.
if he wasn't drunk, I think this is Budweiser said this, but no, they said if he wasn't drunk, he wouldn't have had the balls to pull off this move. He did something so audacious.
Yeah.
Only a drunk person would. This is what they.
That lovely
this is
2
what-
to 3 drink
Yeah,
confidence.
yeah. When you're like, you know what? Maybe I'm Beyonce. I'm gonna fucking spin this plane around.
I remember the trailer for that film where
It's
he
a
goes,
great
"We're
movie.
gonna roll it," and they're like,
yeah.
it's an incredible movie.
"Yeah, I do need to watch that."
Jägerbomb said that that's the reason they
Yeah.
all survived.
So in April
He
28th,
could do adverts. Sorry, that would be.
If that air hostess was pissed, she'd be alive now.
Yeah, exactly. Twerking her way to safety.
No, she was a nice lady.
Oh.
Nice ladies twerk.
Clarabelle CB Lansing is her name. So on April 28th, 1988, a Boeing 737-297 serving the flight suffered extensive damage after an explosive decompression in flight, causing by part of the fuselage breaking down due to poor maintenance and metal fatigue.
Oh god.
Not mental fatigue, metal
Metal.
fatigue.
Yeah, look after your mental health, guys.
Yeah.
Probably made in fucking Corby.
Oh yeah, it probably was.
It was Alex's dad.
Your dad.
He was so tired because he just had a new baby.
Yeah, born in the street.
Yeah, born in the
This is
picked
your
up from
fault.
the town hall.
This
And
is
then he
your
had to go
fucking
straight to
fault.
work.
6-week-old at home, and he's just doing the final bolt. You
yeah,
are?
yeah,
Lunch?
yeah,
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 right.
yeah. See you in a bit.
Yeah.
The plane was able to land safely at Kaulua Airport.
That's insane. With the roof off.
The one
Yeah.
fatality, flight attendant Clarabella CB Lansing, was ejected from the airplane. Another 65 passengers and crew were injured. The substantial damage inflicted by the decompression, the loss of one cabin crew member, and the safe landing of the aircraft established the incident as a significant event in the history of aviation, with far-reaching effects on aviation safety policies and procedures.
Well, that makes me feel a bit better. You know, it's bad that every time there's a crash, you think, well, they'll be extra vigilant about that now.
It's bad. It's like the same with a murder. You go, who gets murdered in the same spot?
Exactly,
you know, a day later?
That'll be the
God.
safest time.
This is awkward. During an interview, passenger Gail Yamamoto told investigators she had noticed a crack in the fuselage upon
come on,
boarding,
Gail.
Upon boarding.
but did not notify anyone.
Are you fucking insane?
If I was getting on a fucking plane and I saw a crack in the plane,
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Hey guys, I think we're gonna sit this one out."
Yeah.
I'm
There's
British,
a crack
so I'd
in
be
the
like,
fucking plane.
I'd be like, it's probably fine. I'll just get on.
Yeah,
I don't want to make
probably,
a fuss.
I know what you mean. Sometimes I see the wings shake when we're taking off. I'm like,
Yeah.
is that right?
Yeah.
You know, I
Or
don't want
like-
to cause a scene, but
Yeah.
it's worrying.
Yeah, you just sort of look worried. You just go,
Yeah. Fucking hell. And they obviously, because of the top came off, so everyone lost their hand luggage, which is bad.
yeah, that's bad. Souvenirs.
The victim of the family's there.
There wasn't any
Family's
laptops
victim.
but keep in mind there was also no laptops or phones back then, so
that's
you're
true.
losing less.
We're talking
Yeah.
80 to 85 Ray-Ban sunglasses.
Oh, some good.
Oh, that's a good shout.
That's a
yeah.
lot, you know?
Think about the Air Jordans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they're hopefully on your feet.
Yeah, that's true.
Like,
No. Take them off, stick them in the thing above.
They'll be safer there.
Feet up, yeah.
Gone.
do you take your shoes off on a plane? I take my shoes off.
I
every
Only on a
time.
long haul.
Well,
one.
do.
I love taking
Yeah.
my shoes. I'll take my shoes off on an hour flight.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, but then you have to walk. The gross part is you are then walking in the toilet with
Yeah,
your
I
socks
don't
on.
No,
know
you
that.
put your shoes on. Even on a long flight, you put your shoes on to go to the loo.
Yeah. That's basic
but
respect.
sometimes,
Wait, you just want to soak up other people's piss.
well, if okay, let's say if I'm at a period in time where my shoes are slip-on shoes, then yes.
Yeah,
But
okay.
if I'll have to tie them
You
again,
have to commit to laces.
I am stepping in other people's piss. and
Bobby
Oh
just
my
wears
God.
Velcro shoes on a flight.
Yeah.
Also, I have to go to the toilet on a plane to vape very often.
You're not meant to do that at all.
Yeah, but no, it's
Oh,
allowed
no.
now.
Is it? No, it's
Yeah,
not.
they have a sign on the toilet door to plane that says you can vape in here.
No, they don't. Do you vape on the plane?
Yeah, you do. Well, you don't breathe it out. Okay, is it vaping?
What, you just swallow
Look
it?
at me
it.
right now. Look at me right now. Is this vaping?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
But I'm not going to breathe out.
But you just
So there's no
swallow.
smoke.
So you just have toxic waste.
It doesn't. If you can't see any smoke, did it happen?
Fair.
Imagine if you went to
There's
if you were on a
no
flight.
smoke without Bobby vaping
Bobby
on the plane.
vaping.
Yes, exactly.
Is it because we can't see the smoke, or you
Well,
just
it
swallowed
doesn't count. Also, it's not dangerous to smoke in airplanes. They used to smoke in airplanes all the time.
They did.
Isn't it mad? That's mad, though. I
It's
think when they
insane.
still say on flights, this is a non-smoking
Yeah,
flight, and
you
you're
go,
like,
"Who's
where are the
that-
smoking
who's that
flights?
for?"
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
They say it everywhere still, and you go, "Come on, everyone
Yeah.
knows that."
What's the poshest flight you've ever been on? Have you ever like blagged business class? Or
No,
something?
I
it
flew
never happens
first
to me.
class to
No.
Australia.
Did you?
Yeah, for a job.
How was it?
Incredible.
Really?
They serve you food whenever you want, and I slept for 8 hours uninterrupted.
Oh my
That's
god,
incredible.
that's amazing, isn't
there
it?
and back to Australia.
That's so. Good.
But part of me was kind of like, could I just have the money for the flight?
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
To
Like,
be
could you just
fair, I
give
know
me
what
the
you mean.
extra
And just do
thousands
a
of pounds
swap
and I'll
over.
do?
Because it is like, a train ticket will be like 40 quid or, 55 for first class. Whereas
Yeah.
a flight is like, so it's £800 or 12 grand.
yeah,
for
yeah,
like-
yeah. It's
like-
so true.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
But is it ever worth it for that short amount of time?
You have to have it. Well, I guess it's worth it if you have an exponentially higher amount of money.
I think though, when you see a family get on and go to first class, I go, "Why don't you just rent a private jet?"
Yeah, insane.
Because
yeah.
it is like 20,000 for a
Yeah.
private jet. So when you're in that
Yeah.
ballpark, just fucking get your own plane.
I also think what a waste of anything under really like 6 hours to go first class. Do you know what I mean? Like Australia, if you're absolutely wedged, all right, you can sort of see that it makes your 24 hours
20,
kind of
yeah,
a lot
yeah,
more comfortable
yeah.
if you can afford it,
New
like a drop in the ocean.
Zealand.
But like, who's paying for first class to go to like Greece?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. 3 hours and it's
Yeah.
$4,000.
Also, I
more
can
expensive.
sleep anywhere.
Yeah, I can sleep anywhere but a plane.
Really?
Oh.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm.
and the logic, this is how bad it is. The logic in my head, and if you're like this, if you're a nervous flyer, is that I need to be alert for if anything happens.
If anything goes wrong with all that experience you've got, that's
What am I
mental.
gonna do?
Surviving in the air.
Yeah.
You'd be like, "Oh God, thank God I was awake."
Thank
right.
God I was awake and saw that.
Also, they never let us have parachutes on a plane.
Exactly.
You're
Why
not
can't
allowed
we
to
have
bring a
that?
parachute.
Yeah, they should all have convertible roofs so that if it starts going down, we're all up.
Yeah.
You
And they
know?
do that whole demonstration about the sea, and I'm just watching. I go, I've never heard
No.
of a plane landing in the sea and everyone being rescued.
And everyone taking their heels off so you don't puncture.
Yeah,
the-
it's
as if you're gonna be like, oh,
ridiculous.
hang on.
but hate to break it to you guys, will be a ball of flames.
Yeah.
That's all that's happening.
My mates love winding me up on a flight if there's any turbulence. Because I'm kind of fine if it's like a smooth flight, right?
Yeah.
I'm all right. But any sort of turbulence or anything that seems out of the ordinary, they're on it and then they start winding me up like, oh, you sure that was supposed to make that noise?
God,
I'm
well,
like, oh my
we
God,
had
why are you doing
Jamali on. He told us a fact that will make you feel worse
this? Okay,
for your
good.
next trip. Is where they get you to brace, like so they tell you to lie forward.
Is this about the dental records?
That's so you have to protect your teeth because it doesn't do anything. It just
So
means
grim,
that they can.
innit?
Yeah.
I can't help but feel. Imagine if Gail Yamamoto just walked off that flight and she wasn't even one of the injured ones, and she just was like, "Probably should have
I should have mentioned.
Mention.
crack."
Oh fuck
Like-
yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I did see a crack,
Yeah.
and you just turn around and go, I just lost my Ray-Bans because of you, you bitch.
But yeah, I'm so bad on a flight that even if a random like bing bong
I hate
happens,
it.
the thing in my head is that the pilot's going to go on and go, "Ladies and gentlemen, we have lost control of the engines."
Yeah.
I don't understand why like there's all these people talking about having sex on a plane.
Oh, I know.
I'm like,
Gross.
where in that gross
Toilet.
toilet that stinks of
I'm all
everyone's
for,
piss?
Yeah, I'm all
Yeah.
for like ticking off a weird place
Yeah.
just for the story. But a plane, how are you even going to both fit in there?
And it's so
Maybe-
obvious, and you come and sit next to an old woman and a kid after
Yeah.
you've done it, and it's like, good for you guys.
Yeah.
Good for
Maybe
you.
like I can imagine like a gentle fingering under a blanket.
Yeah.
That's my highest
Oh.
hope on a plane.
Once we were playing I've Never, and my best mate, I said, I've never had a wank on a plane. And my best mate takes a drink, and I was like, oh, was that when you went to so-and-so with Chris? And she was like, no, it was when you were asleep on the way back from New York. I was like,
no.
what? And she was like, yeah, I just had a blanket on. I was
No.
like, oh yeah, you're just having a wank next to me on the plane. You've just joined the Mile High
Is
Club
this a
by
man or a
yourself.
woman?
A woman.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
That's hot.
Women are out
That
of
is
control.
hot.
Yeah, I think you've both met her actually. I won't say her name on here, but
Oh, really?
yeah, I've only got one female friend. The rest are blokes.
Okay.
So-
Is she in comedy?
No, but she's
Okay. I
around.
think
She
I know
comes
it
to a lot
is.
of gigs,
I know
yeah,
it is, yeah.
yeah.
This is the most naughtiest thing ever. Liam Gallagher shagged Lily Allen on a plane.
Yes, I love that.
And apparently the people around them complained because they'd all spent 12 grand to be in first class.
Yeah, and I'd be like, great. I'm also going to listen to Liam Gallagher rattling
Bang.
Lily Allen.
I would
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Who complains?
I know.
Let's walk.
Yeah.
Can we just? Why
If I
can't
paid
people?
if I paid 12 grand, I want to watch it.
Why can't people appreciate a good show?
Mm.
If anything, I'd say, excuse me, you're kind of under a blanket. Could we move the blanket?
Yeah.
Mm.
Daddy want to see his prize. Daddy needs to see the goods, Lily.
I think they'd stop doing it if you started saying Daddy needs to see this. I think that's the end of it.
Yeah, well, if you wanted to stop, that's how you stop it.
You're like, my refund is getting bigger and bigger for this flight. The
Yes.
less
Yeah.
boobs I see.
Yeah.
Yes.
Talking about the poshest flight. I went on Concorde when I was
Fuck.
13, and I think probably at some point I'm going to be the last person in the world that went on it. Yeah,
What was it
You'll be
like?
like a tortoise
yeah,
with an engraving from 1830 on it.
yeah. I was 13, so I can't remember much of it, to be
Wow.
honest. All I can remember was it was raining outside, so there was like lots of water on the window, and just taking off, just evaporating and just coming straight off. But then I've been on planes ever since, and that just happens on every plane.
Yeah.
yeah.
But why did they stop the Concorde? What was
Because
it?
of the
Just 'cause of the
plane
crash, I think.
Yeah, in France.
Oh, okay, but there's been more.
But it's weird that now they haven't. But was it because they realised there was more safety stuff as well?
No, it was been because of the economics of the flights of the planes and how
Well, it
much
was
it costs
too-
and the,
Oh, I
and the risk.
see.
Yeah,
Right.
that's why. Yeah,
It was
yeah.
too expensive.
I guess the cost ratio of the tickets and people buying tickets and having to fix it and stuff. There's not many people flying on Concorde as there are like
It's
the
an
kind of
hour, isn't it?
Airbus.
How long was
What was it to New York? Like
Yeah.
2-3 hours.
2-3
yeah.
hours.
fucking hell.
Yeah, it was
Bring it back.
It's because my
Yeah.
mum was so proud of me and my exam results.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What did you see when you were in New York?
Barely passed. He barely passed.
Well,
We
it's
didn't think you could without a thyroid, Jody.
yeah. Well, I really regret not going to the World Trade Center at the time because I thought my mum said, "Do you want to go to the World Train Center?" I was like, "Why do I want to go to the?"
No, and then
train
you didn't go.
centre,
The
yeah.
World So when 9/11 happened,
Yeah,
you
but
go,
they were banking
they-
buildings. Why would you want to go see
Yeah.
two giant banking towers?
Because
There's
of
quite a
how
lot in
tall they were and the restaurant
What
in the
year was
sky.
this?
I was 13, so I guess 95.
Right.
Yeah. So like
So 6 years before before they got famous.
So did you think Al Qaeda had blown up a miniature railway? When God,
wow, what
that's
a niche
excessive.
target.
Yeah, why would you fly a plane into a miniature railway?
No, but I do call the Shard the target because why have you built like the biggest fucking building made of glass right next to the one of the biggest, but like busiest London stations?
Yeah,
terrifying. We put up guns on September, apparently anti-aircraft guns all around London.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like, you know, we're kind of in bed with America.
When Red says we, he means his family.
I mean,
Yeah.
the UK,
They just took charge.
They took charge.
Your
We were
dad
just
went
on
vigilante.
the roof with air pistols. Try it, Osama. But no, because everyone thought like England will be
Next.
Yeah.
Because imagine that. You see at the time, I watched a documentary on it recently, and it's like, you would think, fuck, the world's at war.
Yeah,
it's like insane.
I remember them because I remember the rumour mill was so fast that on the bus home from school, it was like, the Pentagon's been hit, the World Trade Center's been hit, and then it was like, the Eiffel Tower's been hit.
Yeah,
so you didn't know what was
yeah.
real, and then
But
you come home and
you
you're
believe
like,
it,
yeah,
because
yeah,
of course.
Yeah.
Where was Meghan Markle?
Well, that's
what
the
I
question
wanna
on
know.
everyone's lips.
Mm-hmm. That's what we all want to know.
Making it about her. That's
Yeah,
where she was.
probably.
I'm just googling where was Meghan Markle on. The
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's told somebody.
Yeah, she probably has.
If she was in New York, then I
Yeah.
think we've got an investigative podcast on our hands.
Well, we could, because I do think she had something to do with it. Never seen her and Bin Laden in the same room.
Are they the same
They're
person?
the same person. She's an
Exactly.
actress as well, so she could bloody play the part. I tell
Sneaky.
you. Yeah.
Yeah. When did she become famous? Was that the year that Bin Laden was supposedly killed?
Oh.
Yeah, that's true. In Suits,
Yeah.
we've just worked it out.
It's
Yeah.
all adding up now.
Well-
Meghan Markle is Osama bin Laden.
Well, what a stupid ending to a good episode. Thank you for coming on and being our guest.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much.
Alexandra, hello. Do you have anything to promote?
I have my Edinburgh show, basically. And
So if you're in Edinburgh in August, there's a lot
Yeah.
of shows, thousands of them. Those shows are shit. Alexandra, hello. Her stage
This
name
is
is
my
Haddow.
stage
Haddow.
name. Yeah.
Alexandra Haddow is doing her debut show, her
Yes.
hour.
Alex Bonjour.
Yes, that's that because
And
I've
what-
gone exotic.
What is it? Do you know what your show's called yet?
My show is called, so it's my debut hour, and my show is called Not My Finest Hour.
Nice. I nearly called mine Finest Hour last year.
Ah,
so
nice.
Interesting.
Yes, Red, she has humility.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So they can get tickets on your Instagram.
Basically, if you just follow me on Instagram and
Alexandra
Twitter,
Haddow.
you'll see all the gear.
Yeah, follow Alexandra Haddow.
She goes viral for tweets, so Twitter's very good.
That's all I'm good at. The social media where no matter how many followers you have, you get no free shit. That's the one I'm
and
good
no one
at.
buys anything. Well, thank you for coming on, Red. Thanks for filling in this week.
It's okay. Thank you. I'll see you next week as when I guest again.
Hopefully.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Cheers.
Goodbye. And thank you to our super genius patrons, Christopher, Spencer, Matthew. We love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That was another episode of The Year Is. Thank you very much for listening. Please like and subscribe. Leave us a review. It all helps. I'd like to thank our producer, Jody. And also I'd like to thank Josh Weller for our intro music and song. It's very catchy. It's very nice. I'm sure you'll enjoy it at the beginning. So big thanks for Josh Weller. He's on Instagram at Josh Weller. Josh Weller. Follow him and keep spreading the word of The Year Is. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.